What's happening, guys? It's Sunday, and we got another awesome show tonight. We got an explosive show with some fantastic guys on the project for Plus Waco Comics. So I'm excited to talk about this. It's something that Armando talked about, I want to say 3 months ago when he was first on the show, talking about the art piece for the book. So now we actually get to talk about the project. So without further ado, I will bring them out. What's going on, Armando?
Hey, bud, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me today. Tonight, I should say.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure. What's going on, Joey?
How's it going, Russ?
Oh, it's going, man. Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on, Danny?
Hey, how's it going, Russ?
Himself.
It's going. Hopefully I don't get kicked out, but if not, those in the audience, as you know, I will be back. We've had this issue before. Gotta love the internet. So I'm pretty excited. You know, you guys got this group collaboration going on. You know, how did you guys originally meet and sort of decide that you guys were going to do this group project together?
Mondo?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so all of us are local to Waco.
Armando?
Since hence the name plus.
he's like, don't put me on the spot like that.
We wanted to keep it local. But a lot of us met through different like kind of pop culture events and the local comic book shop here. So me and Danny met first through another art group that was kind of trying to dive into like comic conventions and things like that. And then we met Joey through the comic shop. He was actually working there at the time. And Danny had started this really cool thing in town called Drink and Draw, where anybody can come hang out with us for the night, and we provide some small utensils and things like that, and people come and just hang out and drink and draw. Mostly we would drink, everybody else would draw. But and Joey was actually working that night at the little restaurant that we were hanging out at, and came by and saw we were doodling and kind of like started talking to us about ideas and stuff. And at first we weren't very not that we didn't like think it was good ideas or anything, but we would get approached all the time at these things of like, oh, I just have ideas of, and they were just ideas, they were just like, hey, I want to draw this superhero and he's got a sword or something, and I was kind of like, okay, thanks, but Joey, man, he like really wanted to come with us with some tenacity and like scripts and character bios and things like that. And so we kind of let him into our little, circle, and from there just kind of took off,
Yeah. Trying to think, because you and I think, met like officially through like one of the small cons in Waco.
Yeah.
Mondo.
Yeah.
I think we were at separate tables, and and then after that we kind of just clicked, and after that we started hanging out. That's when I developed the Drink and Draw, and then I think Joey started noticing us go into the comic shop and would, just ask questions. Like, he was very inquisitive about a lot of things. And then we would tell people about the Drink and Draw. Joey got wind of it, showed up, and then just started hanging around. And then he would really start to develop the ideas for everything. When he approached us almost with a book of information, characters, descriptions, character ideas, backstories, histories, everything you could think of. And I think Mondo and I both were kind of like, well, this guy's pretty serious about it. Let's, hear him out and see where this, because like Mondo said, if they come to us with an idea, chances are that's all it is, and that's all it's ever going to be. They want you to do the heavy lifting, and like I've got other stuff to do,
Yeah.
But if you come to me on equal terms with enough work already put in, then yeah, let's get to it. let's crack that whip and see where this goes.
So now for the Kickstarter that you guys currently have going, is it like a collaboration of each one of your guys' stories? I've kind of looked into it a little bit, but I wanted to, give you guys a chance to explain, what exactly the Project Alpha is.
Well, the book that we have out right now is actually a launching point for a series, like a publishing line, more or less. As akin to what Marvel and DC are doing right now, what Milestone did back in the day. But Danny had the great idea of, instead of having separate characters go off at the same time, we have a single starting point where we can start leaving seeds to where we can go back to in the future. But it's a great story. It's a graphic novel, so it's not like a anthology or anything. It's a single storyline. It's 3 chapters, so it's 66 pages is where we're at right now. It's full of action. There's drama. There's an origin story like you've never seen before. I promise. I made sure. There's a lot in the book. There's so much we could talk about. But that's what we have going on right now with the Kickstarter.
And it's definitely. I mean, Danny did like all the character designs for the characters that you see on there. But like it was a kind of a mixture of all of us like collaborating with all of our interests, what we read as kids, what we grew up with, what we felt needed to be in comics at this point, what was going to be different. And so we would, kind of, hey, what about this or what about this? And then the final designs or whatever Danny drew up is what we came up with and then are going to shoot for. So
That's awesome. So you're trying to take it back to the old time comics instead of having this, the same old stories they've been beaten for the last 60, 70 years. You want to bring something fresh to the game.
Yeah.
What people need.
Yeah.
Really.
Corey says Danny's beard game is legit.
Thank you. I grew this morning.
Yeah.
So where do you guys plan to go after this Universe Alpha? I mean, do you guys have separate storylines? I know, Armando, you had a book that you were talking about a few months ago working on. So you each have like separate storylines that you're going to work on?
Yeah, so we kind of teamed up and thought what would best fit with maybe like our strengths and what we were interested in, what we'd like to draw, kind of too with like our art style maybe. And we kind of divided up into all these characters that we thought, which eventually could turn into like crossover events, or Danny could draw like a one shot with a character that I'm doing, or vice versa, things like that. But yeah, I mean we've I don't know, Joey, how many books do we have kind of already set to
6?
Go 6 books after.
Yeah, so we have
6. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, we have 6 on a line right afterwards. I'm not going to go too far into how we're going to divvy it up. But Danny and Armando are both going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting, getting those out of there. So all 6 of the characters that are going to be headlining the books are going to be introduced right here in Plus Universe Alpha. You're going to get to learn a bit about them, get to see them in action, but you're really going to get to learn about the character and live with that character whenever we get those books out. So the first 2 that we have up is going to be Lawbringer, helmed by Armando, and then we're going to have Lady Avelion, helmed by Danny. And I can go and let them explain a little bit about those books.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Danny, go.
All right. So, and what Joey isn't mentioning is that these books that are spinning out, they're going to be written in volumes. So each book is going to be 6 issues on the first run, and so my series will be 6 issues, 22 pages. Mondo's series will be 6 issues, 22 pages each, and then each subsequent book that we put out is going to follow that same path, that same pattern. We really want to tell like stories in these volumes, so it's not really like it's not going to be an ongoing like Batman where it's issue 1000. It'll be in volumes where you get 1 through 6, volume 1, 1 through 6, volume 2, 1 through 6, volume 3, almost like seasons on TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, the book that I'll be handling once this Plus Universe is done is Lady of Valiant, and it's the next incarnation of King Arthur. And it's a young woman who's part of an MI6 style group organization based in the UK. And as a youth, like 8 or 9 years old, she's actually pulled Excalibur at like a county fair or something. It's just in a booth, like a game. And she grows up. They recognize who she's supposed to be. They take her into the organization and train her to be train her to be their king in this organizational chart, because they don't have kings anymore. But inside this system, all your like leaders, whatever your captains and lieutenants and everything, have certain titles like king and knight and magician and everything like that. So she's going to be the next King Arthur, but she's still learning the ropes, and she still has internal struggles within the organization. If you know anything about the Arthurian legend, then you know what Arthur has to deal with. And that, coupled with everything going on outside, that they deal with not just like super spy stuff, but they also deal in the supernatural. So they're handling like they're taking down jewel thieves who also happen to be demons from another dimension.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
like pop in and out of vaults and everything, and they have to figure out ways to kill them, capture them, whatever, and hold them accountable. So
yeah.
That's really cool. So what about your character, Armando, with the Lawbringer?
The Lawbringer, I really like this, and I think it's going to be a challenge for me because we pulled a lot. Joey has a lot of background in a lot of manga and anime, and I've been slowly getting into it. I wasn't raised on that stuff, but I've been slowly getting into that stuff. Other than like, I used to watch like Gundam and like G-Force, or Gotcha Man. That's what I call Gotcha Man. And so it's kind of a mixture of like that with like a Green Lantern core. So like you have a core of these space kind of rangers that are, they're like a police force under the god, like, Annihilus, which is the god of law and order, right? That's on the front cover, right? And so, but Jason is a really young kid, right? That's the Lawbringer. He's a really young kid who's kind of struggling with like fitting into this, experienced core of space knights, I guess you would call them. I'm still digging everything about it, and but
it's
I
a
don't know,
wild concept, yeah.
It pulls from so many things that I love that I don't know what to categorize other than like this really like neat sci-fi knight kind of thing, and the way their weapons are used and everything is really a lot different than anything I've ever seen. So, and it just talks about him as a young kid fitting into this experienced space force, trying to bring law and order while, justifying everything at the same time. So, yeah, I think it's really great. It's going to be awesome. And I'm really excited for it. And I don't know, maybe you guys might see something too if you fund the Kickstarter. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so give me a second here. I'm going to try to share screen that since my computer decided to boot me. I knew that would happen. I'm going to throw the Kickstarter up here on the screen. And also, everyone, the link that I just posted in the comments will take you to the Kickstarter that is live now for Universe Alpha. And we're going to show off a little bit here. Hopefully it works. Come on.
Danny, I'm trying to take your spot with having the best cat photo,
I see that. He just like keeps coming in. He's like, "Hey man, you online right now?"
Oh yeah, the star show.
yeah. Danny always has casual, like, send a profile photo so we can promote. He sends a casual, like,
Yeah, whenever you see the
and
Kickstarter, you're gonna see Danny's photo on there. He's holding the cat, and
yeah.
I thought he sent that by accident, like his thumb hit the wrong one, but no, he was for real.
That's for like I think you sent this by accident. No, here, I'll send it again just to be sure.
Come on. Well, I guess it's not going to work. Whatever. I'll try it again. Let me reboot the computer. So
Yeah, no, it sounds like an awesome project, and it's really cool, for you guys to be friends and you have these ideas, and to kind of say, hey, let's pull together, let's do Plus Waco. We're all from the same area. Let's put our ideas together. Let's make like a hand guide, kind of a universe alpha, and just do the project. It's
Yeah.
awesome to see people collaborate together. I guess that's what I was trying to get at.
And I think most of it came from is just all three of us. I mean, we've all had stuff published, right? But a lot of us lately have been facing a lot of rejection, for important gigs that we felt that we were warranted, and we wanted, like, no, that's part of the industry, but at the same time, when you're doing this so long, you kind of know your worth, right? Like, and we wanted to be like, okay, well, if we're not going to be able to do it this way, then we want to share what we want to do. We want to share what our passion, what we think's missing, things like that. So it's kind of got us kicked in gear and feel the fire a little bit. And Joey too, he keeps us young. He's the young buck of the group, so we get kind of tired sometimes. Joey keeps us on our toes. So,
and plus, you guys have some other people that you've brought in on the project as well too. Do you want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, we have Hector Negrete. He's actually the fourth member, so there's four of us. Hector is honorary Wacoan. He's actually from Mexico. That's where he lives at. He's our letterer. He does. He also helps Danny with the designs for logos. He's an excellent guy. And then we also brought in Paris Elaine, and I'll let Danny explain all that because he's the one that roped him in, which is a blessing.
Yeah. So Paris Elaine has worked with DC and Marvel and some Image Comics. He's actually, an Eisner Award-winning colorist. He won it this year. He was nominated earlier, and then we found out, I think, right before the launch. Is that right, Joey? Yep. Yeah, we found out right before the launch that he'd actually won that Eisner Award. And I had been following on Instagram for a while, and on a whim, I just reached out to him, I think early this year. Like, hey, man, big fan of your work. I just want to let you know that I've got a project in mind that I'm working with some guys with, and we're putting it together. And, can I get a page rate? And would you be interested? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure, like everyone else, you tell somebody you're doing something, but you don't have any physical proof. You don't have anything to really show. And they're like, sure, whatever. I'm pretty sure he just kind of blew me off. But he responded in kind. He gave me a page rate, and I was like, that's reasonable. I can definitely match that. And then as we got closer to the Kickstarter, we finally got serious and like, look, do we really want to bring Paris on? If so, we need to know because, his schedule might have been booked up or something. And if that's the case, we're going to have to scramble to find another colorist. Yeah. Everybody agreed. I reached out to him like, hey, send him some sample pages and send him the premise of the book and everything, the concept. And he jumped on board. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll put some colors on it. And we got lucky enough that he wasn't super busy, that he was able to do it for us, handle these colors. Yeah. So, and here's our Kickstarter. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see he did a great job. And I mean, Danny had been talking to the whole time, and I don't know about you guys. I was freaking out because he's very talented, and us, we were, like Joey said, blessed to get him. And I was just like, oh man, is he even gonna want to do this? Like, and then it was getting time to launch. It was like, oh gosh, he hasn't hit us back with colors yet. Like, are we gonna be like, is he gonna just last minute be like, okay, I'm, sorry guys, I'm too busy, but I said I'd do it. And then boom, Danny's like, hey, check the colors out, and I was like, and I thought maybe there was maybe like two little edits that he like fixed real quick, but like other than that, it was like, holy crap, like this is beautiful, and so we were really fortunate to get him, so we're pretty cool. And that's another thing we were worried about too, because we didn't share any of this prior. We didn't share any of this. Like, Russ, you asked me on the show last time, I didn't share anything. Like, we've been like working in silence like for forever, and we were kind of nervous, like, well, like Danny said, well, is he gonna Google us and there's gonna be nothing, or and but
scam artist.
Right, exactly, right. But we wanted to prove people that that when we launched this, it was about the book and our passion and about Joey's awesome writing, Danny's awesome interiors. You know, the next book will be about my interiors. Like, that's what we wanted people to see up front. You know, we didn't want to rely on a bunch of like fancy design promotions or ads that we paid for or things like that. So,
Sorry, it got all blurry on me. I don't know what's
no,
going
that's
on
all right.
with
That's
it.
fine.
That's
I was
fine.
like, it's like all of a sudden it's blurry, and so I tried to reload it, but it's being a pain
Yeah.
in the butt. But yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, that's like, with me doing Xeno Nanite Titan, as my project, I'm reaching out to all these artists. I'm like, hey, I got this character, and here's kind of like the base art, and I'm doing this book, and they're like, who are you? No, I'm just,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, and it's really intimidating. It's really hard to reach out and pour your heart and soul out there and say, hey, I got this project that I think is awesome. Do you want to be a part of it? Because there's always, not only the rejection aspect, but they get your work and they see what you're wanting them to do. And they're like, well, this is stupid, So there's always that fear of, do they really want to be a part of the project? And are they going to say yes? But, you guys took the initiative, you put it out there and you're like, all right, hopefully we can get this done. And now it's happening. So, I'm sure you guys are just beside yourself with it.
Oh, blown
Oh
away.
yeah, super ecstatic. Just
Yeah.
We hit our
bunch
goal
of nervous energy.
and we were not expecting that at all. Like, you should have seen us, man. I think we were all freaking out. We were all holding it all together. We all had this group chat together. We were all like, I think we were all like trying to keep our chests puffed up, not let everybody know that we were freaking out, but we were nervous.
We were excited. We were freaking out too the other way. Like, before we even like got halfway through, we were already talking about, hey man, so what should we do in the middle of the month to promote it? What should we do in 10 days? Because we weren't, we were thinking we might have get stuck, that halfway point or whatever. And everybody was super excited about it, and it kind of made us more excited about it and gave us that kind of kick to keep going with it. So yeah, we're super thankful to everybody, and we think you guys are really going to like everything that we put out. So
yeah.
And I'm going to bring up some art here. Give me just a second. Sorry, since I reloaded, everything kind of dropped out on me. But yeah, I mean, what I've seen so far looks awesome. Some of you guys sent over some of the ink pages, and then some of the colored pages, and it looks phenomenal. You guys are going all the way with this, not just like, all right, we're going to put a little bit out there. You guys are really putting the effort behind the project.
And it's cool because we still get excited too, because we haven't seen Danny's like full pages. We've only seen like a couple sample pages and his
like
ideas,
snippets here and there. Yeah.
So we're like, Danny, oh, that's cool, Danny. What else you got? Like, come on, And so we're gonna be excited too. And I think that's part of it too, that we work really good together, is because like I said, we all know what we like. Me and Danny grew up with the same stuff, liking reading the same comics, liking the same artist. Joey likes his stuff, which we're getting into, and then Joey's also really open to like art suggestions and things like that. We all just mesh really well. So
yeah, Josh, I mean, at least you're not lonely at the guest relations table anymore. That's always a plus.
I'm reading the comment. I'm laughing.
Yeah. So we did. Yeah, so we do. Wendy does these projects. Earlier this year, she had the Naughty Fairies Comic Con for her series, Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassins, and so it ended up turning into, we had made up all these crazy events that were going on because it was an online Comic Con, and it went really well. So last month they had Comic Unity Online Convention, and they added me as one of the guest relations because I come up with crazy crap. If you ever see me in the live feeds, I'm always cracking jokes and stuff. So, we ended up having, there were several members that got tasered. We had to boot a Hyundai for Luis Torres, and then he got out of hand, so we tased him. I mean, and then you got Toddler Fight Club. That's the other thing, that Josh came up with last. So, we like to have fun, and that's what's great about these new Kickstarters too. Since the shutdown, that's the one good thing. Try to always look at the positive of everything. With COVID, it's really shined a light on the indie community and the work that everybody does, and it's awesome to see so much support now after Marvel and DC kind of tanked, and they're like, all right, we're shutting down distribution. Diamond shut down; they weren't delivering books anymore, and so people are like, oh my God, what am I going to put on my shelves? And so the indie community really stepped up. We had a lot of indie creators that were reaching out to comic book stores and saying, "Hey, I've got books printed. If you want some, to stock in your store," and it's really helped, kick everything off.
Yeah.
Let's see if this will work now. Maybe. You can do it.
There
Look
you
at
go.
that.
It's all Danny, man.
So here's some of the inked pages. Or not ink pages, colored pages. The ink pages are last.
I think this is one of my favorite ones. Whenever Danny showed us this and showed us the pencils on it, and
it's crazy, man. Danny just. It's like I said, because like whenever we go hang out at a drink and draw or something, Danny never draws, right? Like he never draws. He'll like doodle on a napkin, and it makes me feel better. I'm like, oh hell yeah, like I'm gonna go home and do this 11x17 page or whatever. And then later on, he's like, hey guys, what do you think of this? And I'm like, God damn it, like I'm like, it's great, Danny. God, throwing my pencils across the room and everything. But yeah, no, I really like. I'm really glad I ran into Danny because where I was at in my art, I was very kind of complacent as far as like doing little cons and things like that. And I think when you surround yourself with people who challenge you, in a good way, and I always seek for him for advice and hey, what about this or this layout or this pose or whatever. And he's really super great about it. So, but yeah, these pages, they're beautiful. The layout, the panel layouts, all of it.
So you got Jason Hillier in the comments said, hello guys from your friendly Ohio artist. He said, if you ever need another artist, just saying I'm here.
Might be submissions in the next couple years, guys. You never know.
Yeah, man, we'll see.
Yep.
We got.
There's Mr. Stuff Wilson himself.
We gotta wait till we're secure. So like a couple Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Line, then we'll think about it. So. Oh man, I love this
cover, dude.
Hey Danny, so I've been meaning to ask you on the Toro Negro, the black Toro,
the
fist. Were you trying to draw that like a hoof, like dude? That's so awesome, man.
No, I just I looked at Hispanic and Latin dads and everything and how their fists. I don't know how their fists get bigger over time. But they just get bigger as they age, and then you wrap it up. And I was just like, just over. I exaggerated his fist a lot.
Yeah, but it fits. Man. I'm thinking, my eyes drooped. I was like, dude, you got the horns, you got these like big callous, like hooved kind of fists.
Yeah,
fits the character. Is beautiful, man. You can see all of our characters there on the front.
Yeah, so Joey, you want to talk about the characters?
Yeah, I got you guys. So right front and center, that's Bronze Man. This iteration is actually the second generation of him. I'll go into that a little bit later on, but that's Bronze Man right there. Above him, you can see his predecessor, Bronze Man first. To his right, with the horns, that guy is Black Toro, also known as El Toro Negro. He is our Mexican luchador vigilante, old guy that's just a tough badass. He doesn't need a lot to go into a fight. He just goes in headstrong. He's a lot of fun to write, real loudmouth. On the left, you see Danny's character, Lady Avelian. She's really awesome. She's holding Excalibur. Her outfit is super awesome. Danny did an excellent job blending like the knight with the vibe. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Right above her, you can see Thunder Stallion. Thunder Stallion is a really cool character. She's a Native American, more of an activist character. And her backstory goes into a bit about the polio virus back in the day that was real prevalent in the Native American community. And so her story goes in a lot about activism and saving the environment and fighting a lot of the evil corporations that are just like pro money and not pro Earth. She's the Earth's guardian on that front. On the far right to her, you can see Armando's character. That's Lawbringer. That's honestly I think my pride and joy. Danny did an amazing job on it. We pulled a lot from Super Sentai, Tokusatsu, classic anime, Cash Earn, a lot of just fun stuff that we enjoyed reading, and we delved and just kind of blended everything to put our own version into a lot of these characters. I mean, obviously, you're going to see a lot of these characters a bit similar to what you've seen before on the shelves, but inside they're completely different. We really made characters that we are excited about and that we can't wait to read more of.
Yeah.
And then up top, you got the big guys. On the right there, you have Nihilus. He is the god of law and order. He is tasked with keeping, upholding, making sure everybody does the things that they are supposed to do in this realm. And to his left, you see the god of gods, and that is Dios. Dios is the one that sits on the throne and makes sure everybody else does their job. So he's the one that, even though he's not the one doing the groundwork, he's the one in charge. So a lot of the people, like a lot of Nihilus, is seeing that he's incompetent in doing his work. And so there's a lot of conflict going on right there. So they decide that they should decide to split. There's a lot going on in there. And that's the root conflict of the story in Plus Universe Alpha, is between those two.
Dios is upper management.
And
Nihilus is the guy that gets all the sales. Dios is the guy that gets all the commission.
Yeah, Black Toro is Joey's least favorite character.
Oh yeah,
he's not too into him.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
the unlettered pages. Yeah,
this book, we get to make a lot of cool characters that are just a little weird, exciting, extravagant. That guy up there up top, that's the All Father himself. That's Death. And Danny did an outstanding job designing that. That is abstract. It's creepy. It's pretty cool looking.
yeah, he's in the book. Bigger reveal. Matter of fact, I am almost finished inking that page and ready to send it off for colors.
Awesome.
So.
And there we go. We got explosion. So it's all good in my book.
Yeah.
There's some days.
Oh, they're my Superman samples.
Those were man, we were so mad because DC announced for that
Fandom.
For the DC fandom
that they were gonna do
portfolio reviews that they had opened. Yeah, they opened for portfolio reviews.
but they didn't announce an end date of when you could submit. And so I'm thinking, man, at least I can get like a page in or something. Danny at this point has already knocked out like 4 pages. He's like, yeah, just I don't know. I'm kind of working on something. Here's 4 pages. Like, hey man, let me try to do at least 1 page. But then he hits me up. He's like, dude, they're already closed. They closed a day, or 2 days after 2 days, and then the reviews weren't even. The reviews were just like of any kind of art. Like you could have submit pinup art or, yeah. So that's awesome. That's one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, I love that one.
You can get that as that style as a commission of one of our tiers on the Kickstarter, guys, if you go in, which are limited. So we're only reserving so many spots. That way we'll make sure we can get everything out to you on time and hopefully less hiccups that way. So because we are still doing, other work and things like that. So yeah, but like the perspective and so good. So.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys got a heck of a lineup here as far as artists and creators go and creative minds. So I mean, this project has so many places that it can go. It's gonna rock.
That was our thing too. We wanted to make sure that when we started something, we wanted to leave like a legacy for ourselves, and also perpetuate Joy's career and Danny's career and my career at the same time, while working with talented people and people we know reliable who are used to, hitting deadlines and things like that. So.
Sorry, I'm trying to copy the link into the comments again.
That's great.
So outside of, drawing and stuff, like let's start with Armando. And then we can go to Danny and then go to Joey. What are some of your inspirations, as far as art goes and, wanting to create your own comics?
I grew up, my dad was, he was history minor and an art major. So growing up in the house, there was always like my bedtime stories were like Greek mythology, and we watched history documentaries and stuff like that. So I was kind of drawn, to the fine art aspect of art. And when I started illustrating about 5 or 6 years ago, that's when I wanted to actually dive into is doing like gallery work and stuff like that. But I still had a love for comics because as a kid, that's what I grew up with, comics and cartoons and TV shows and things like that. So, my inspiration comes a lot from those earlier late 80s, early 90s comics, as well as a lot of, literature and stuff, classic heroes, like the Greek myths and things like that. And, but I said, man, I have a love for comics, and I was hanging out with, going back to Bankston's after a long time and, reading what was new. And I said, man, I wonder if I could do this, if I would like to draw this kind of stuff. And I just kind of dove in and put all my time into it and really worked at it. And that's kind of where it kind of stemmed from to actually become an actual comic illustrator. So it wasn't actually like I'd drawn as a kid and did high school and did some college and things like that. But that was never a goal that I thought was attainable for me, because every art teacher, a lot of the ones that I had at least were, you have to, do this and understand this and do galleries and go to shows and that kind of stuff. So, but I'm really grateful for met these guys and some other local illustrators that kind of, this is I could do this, like, to my abilities, and keep working on it as well, and keep honing that craft and keep getting better and stuff. So, but yeah, comics and classic heroes and literature, pulp characters.
So what you're saying is you really excel at doing Greek mythology. So everybody needs to stop, getting all these horror commissions and start getting Greek mythology.
Funny. Like, it's funny because I know I love those certain horror characters, but people assume, my style or the characters that I do draw that's what I'm into, which is actually, really not. But I still like doing them. I still like doing them, and I like that it fits my style. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm still open to it. But yeah, maybe ask for some other stuff. That'd be cool.
Well, I'm just I like to give you trouble about it every time because it seems like you get a commission for like a superhero and you'll do like Thor, and then like the next 8 or 9 commissions you're knocking out live. It's like, here's another horror piece. Here's another horror piece.
That I like was like, I love like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is like one of my favorite novels. Like, I read that all the time, and I have all different kinds of versions of it and stuff. And that was kind of my thing, but I don't like the like gory, stuff, like the rapey murder clowns, and I like the classic kind of scary stuff, So
I can already see it now. The audience is getting ready to commission about 15 It pieces.
Yeah, probably
the high tension, high drama, classic horror. Rather than, hey, let's put as much blood on the screen as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. exactly. Yeah.
So, what about you, Danny? What kind of inspired you to get into it?
Being an only child for about 6 years with a TV, that kind of just like, yeah, you know what? Let's see what's on this channel. Let's see what's on this channel. I think I saw Batman, the old Filmation 60s Batman cartoon in syndication, and I would see the Marvel comics, the little stop that they actually cut from a comic, and then limited animation, the old Captain America and Iron Man and Thor and Namor and all those, and then the Spider-Man cartoon from the 60s was amazing to me. And so it kind of motivated me to want to recreate what I saw on paper, because when they ended, that was it for the day. You couldn't. I didn't have comics. I didn't have access to a comic book store, so I had to find a way to make them last for me. And so I'd like pick up a pencil and pick up a piece of paper and just try to recreate it as best I could. And then my love from there grew. And I think my dad took me to the old comic book shop that used to be on 25th Street. It's moved now to Franklin, guys. It's the Goldens. It used to be on 25th Street.
Yeah.
But I remember walking in there, and they just had this huge wall of books. And so thinking back on it, I was 7 or 8. So it might not have been a huge wall. It might have been just a shelf about 4 feet high. But, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, man, this is so grandiose.
Well, and
But
like you said, you never had access to that stuff, so it was your first
Yeah.
time seeing it. So
Yeah.
like it could have been just like a freaking shelf or one of those little turnstiles with like
Yeah.
4 sides, and you're
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
Yeah.
But so I grew up with like the old Sal Buscema, the Herb Trimpe, the John Romita, going into the Mike Zeck and everything, and I was just like, yeah, these, you know, this is fun. This is fun stuff. And then I think the lightning bolt hit just like it hit everybody in the 90s, and the lightning bolt struck me dead center in my, like, right here when I saw Jim Lee on the X-Men.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done. I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like before, I was like, it's fun. It's a fun hobby, maybe, you know. But no, as soon as I saw that, I was like, no, I know this is what I want to do eventually, somewhere down the road, some way, shape, or form. This is what I want to do. And it only grew from there with Jim Lee, to Will Spertasio, to Travis Charest, to Adam Hughes, man. And then current day, Pepe Larraz, Olivier Coipel. Those guys are just killing it. Ryan Sook constantly. And I'm just like, I should stop because I'm going to slip my wrist.
Yeah, we're always talking about that. Like, we'll wake up like, oh, we're all excited to draw and create and stuff, and then we'll go to Instagram. Olivia Coipel will have to post a piece, or, you know, warm up.
He's got like his pencil. He's got his pencil, and he's like doing these slow little strokes, and then he pulls the camera back, and it's this Thor fighting this Midgard serpent and everything.
Like, Gaming, did your day get ruined too? You're like, let's just start drinking.
Yeah, I'll try again tomorrow.
well, you know, it could always be worse. You could be like me, you know, doing my little stuff pool sketches. I mean, you know, so.
Hey, that's a lot more centered than some I've seen, man. You got the centered right. You got the proportions right.
Oh, I loved it too, because, you know, I'm always giving stuff a hard time. So since he just started doing the You Can Draw, and so since he was in the comments earlier, I'm going to give him some trouble. So he does these You Can Draw segments, and he did Deadpool was one of the first ones he did, and so that's what I just started doing. Like, if you guys ever go and look on my page, you'll find a folder labeled Stuff Pool Weekly Comics. So each week he'll draw something, and I incorporate Stuff Pool into it in some kind of a joke. And so one day I was like, you know what? Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassin 4 is on Kickstarter right now. I'm like, I'm going to do a Stuff Pool piece as a Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassin cosplay. So I added the skirt and the little ride-on unicorn and stuff and posted it on there. So I like to have fun with that. But yeah, I'm not an artist. I don't claim to be. I try sometimes, and I'm just like, then I see you guys doing this stuff. And I'm the same way. It's like, wow, I spent 25 minutes drawing Stuff Pool, and this guy just like drew Thor in 5, and it's phenomenal. But hey, it's all about having fun, right?
Yeah.
So what about you, Joey?
I kind of have a similar story, man. It was actually at the same store Danny went to, Golden's. My dad took me. It was actually it was on Franklin by then. My dad took me to his free comic book day, and I picked out an Ultimate Spider-Man issue, and then I picked out it was X-Men Academy. No, not X-Men Academy, New Mutants, where each X-Men kind of had their own squad. And so I kind of got hooked in from there. And from there, I started, getting into watching all the classic cartoons, like the 90s X-Men, the one that came after it. Because what was cool about, my bad, Danny Armando, what was cool about my generation is that I had access, I had the access to go back and check everything out. So whenever I figured out, like, oh man, like, this is something that I enjoy, I just dove into it. So I didn't really get too seriously invested into it until because by that time I was going to the library and picking up all the comic trades I could find. And there was one, it was the X-Men Decimation line. And I remember because I was 11 years old. And when I read that book, that was the one where all the mutants lost their powers. But what was crazy about it was the mutants that survived. They were getting towed away on a bus, and then the bus exploded. Like extremists blew it up. Like I'm like, this is a comic book. Like I'm thinking like this might be still similar to the cartoons and all that. But then I realized right then and there that comics can go other places. And from there, I found everything. I read as much as I could, and that was pretty much it, man. I was just a fan for a long time. The writing didn't really come until later. My writing background, whenever I was in high school, I did a lot of one-act play for writing. So stage plays is what I'm familiar with. And then I think I left the job and I went to the comic book shop of all places, and I was just looking at the shelves, and I was just thinking, like, because I didn't know what I was going to do with my life at that point in time. And I opened up a book, and it was silly, and I think it was Murder Falcon, I think. It was just a silly concept book, and it was just fun. It looked like somebody that made that had fun writing it. Whoever drew it had fun drawing it. Whoever reads it has fun reading it, and that's what I wanted to do. So right then and there, I went out and I bought every single learn to write book I could find, like how to write comics. One of the first ones I bought was a Stan Lee book, and the first lesson in there is write what you know. So I wrote a semi-autobiographical comic. I put it on Kickstarter 2 years ago. That got funded, and it's out on 6 continents, actually, by the way. So that's pretty tight. From there, I met Danny and Armando, and I just bugged them, and I bugged them and bugged them until we're here right now. There's a lot that went into it, a lot of self-doubt, but the main thing is I started writing books that I wanted to read. I wanted to write books that I'd want to find on the shelf, that someone could have fun reading, that someone could have fun drawing. Danny.
And real quick, he says, I left the job and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. He's 22.
Yeah, right? Dude,
now.
he was 22 at the time. Like, come on. You've got so much life in front of you. What are you doing? God, go get drunk or something. Stop complaining like a middle-aged man. Oh, I've got this mortgage I need to pay. I got kids in school. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
oh yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, that's my backstory, man. That's nothing else too much to it. I decided to write comics because I wanted to write books that I'd love to read, and I want to make it my career.
Yeah.
And
he's awesome at it, man. We always tell him because he's any creator, any creative person is going to have self-doubt because you want to get better, right? Like you want to progress and get better, and so you're going to think,
we're our own worst critics.
Our
own worst critics.
Is this the direction I'm going and stuff? But we have to tell him, like, dude, you're light years ahead of some people who hit us up like, hey man, I've got this story. Cool, what's the script? What's the first page? What's the character bio? Well, I don't know. I just want to draw this character. Like, oh, cool. What's it about? Well, it's kind of like Ninja Turtles. And that's your first sign of it's going to be Ninja Turtles. Just and Joey is just his brain, man. It's just constantly turning, and we have to be like, dude, chill. We're older. Like, let's just hone in on this real quick. We don't have as many years as you do left on you, but
yeah, exactly. Especially me, Joey. I need the script today.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna be here tomorrow.
But that's what made me like Joey, because he was hungry for it, man. He was hungry for it, and I have never come across anybody as far as a writer that way before. So it kind of made me kind of excited about it too, and so.
Well, and that's awesome, and it's inspirational, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to do with my project. With writing Zen on Nanite Titan, I started it 10 years ago. Life got in the way. I gave myself self-doubt. I mean, like Danny said, you're your own worst critic. And I looked at the project. I'm like, yeah, nobody's gonna like this, and it's hard to get other people interested in something if you're not totally behind what you do. And it's like over the years meeting awesome people like you guys and Wendy and stuff and all the creatives that I've ran into, not only are they awesome and like, hey, you know, if you really like what you're doing, then put it out there. But they're, you know, they're some of the best people you can work with, because you say, hey, I'm wanting to do this, and you know, you don't really know where to go with it, and they're like, oh, hey, you know, if you need help with doing your Kickstarter, you need help with figuring out where to get prints at, you need help with, you know, what companies not to use and what companies to use, or what to do for your stretch goals. There's always going to be people out there to help you, and that's what's great about the indie community, and that's why, you know, that's why I do a lot of the stuff is all indie. It's because it's an inspiration for other people that have something that they want to do. You know, like Joey, he was hungry. He wanted to find people that he could be, you know, a symbiote with. You know, and that's what's going to make this project great. Is you guys work well together. You guys have the same ideas. You guys have the same. You're on the same level, and you're on the same level of excitement about it. And that's what I want for my project once I get down the road down for, you know, do the comic book. Because right now it's, you know, just going to be a book trilogy to show off my creative writing. And I'm hoping, you know, like, you know, Joey to find somebody that looks at it and goes, hey, I really love this. I want to do the art for it. And it's really great to see, you know, that come together in your guys' project.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important what you said about how you said that everybody kind of helps each other out, and everybody says, oh, I need some help. How to do this? Because, and we were asked this on another interview. It's like, you know, what advice kind of do you have? And it's like, you guys have to think like, any true creative, like we have a good solid book, right? Like we're not trying to like sabotage anybody else and not being successful. And true creatives aren't trying to do that. But at the same time, you know, you have to take rejection and critiques very seriously in you know, what you're going to, you know, if you're going to be in this kind of industry and stuff. And I know me and Danny both have had like shredded portfolio reviews and stuff for us by people. And it's not just the indie, the Marvel, you know, the bigger companies, the guys that are there now, what they're telling you is, you know, they want to see that legacy go on too, right? They love comics. They fell into it the same way. And they want, you know, that to keep going and not phase out. So if they're telling you something negative, you know, it's not because, you know, they don't want you to, you know, be a Spider-Man artist or, you know, but they want you to do it right. They know what it takes to be in that business. And that's kind of the same with Kickstarters and indies and things like that, is you'll have to face, you know, tribulations of, you know, maybe some people at first won't, you know, fund your book the first round, or they won't like your stuff, or an artist will say like, I don't like your writing, or, you know, anything like that. But you just kind of have to like use that, take it with a grain of salt, and just kind of go with it until you have something that you think is solid. And so, yeah, so that's a good thing you said about everybody helping each other out. That's what the community is, man. When I found, you know, Danny, I was, you know, a little bit intimidated because in my little community circle, I was thinking that I was, you know, big fish in a little pond, you know. And then I find somebody that's in Waco, has a mortgage, the same situation as me, and he's phenomenal. I'm like, oh man, I can't think of myself as top. You know, I've got to push myself. I got to push my pencil a little bit. You know, I got to take whatever he says as not him, you know, dogging me, but saying, oh, I need to get better or whatever. And I think that's kind of important too. So, but yeah, that was off rails, but I just thought that's comment. I've been drinking a little bit too, guys. So
It's all right. It's all right.
All good,
Hey,
man.
it's all
It's
good,
fine.
man.
It's fine. Yeah.
We're just glad that Joey's old enough to drink now too. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Joey. I had to throw that in there. They were dogging you, so I just had to pile on.
About being the young guy, but I didn't realize that I was this to them until they did another interview. But I keep them going, is what they said. That's really cool. So if I
Yeah.
a guy that keeps them moving,
yeah, man,
I'll be that guy. You know,
we teach them, but at the same time, like I said, yeah, like you said, Joey. I mean, there's times when I'm like, dang, man, maybe I should just keep working and worrying about like adult stuff. You know, Joey's like, hey, man, I got this cool idea, and I'm like, nope, I'm a kid at heart. I'm gonna like,
Same.
yeah,
you know?
like the people that have made it before us, I'm sure we were not the first to feel this way.
Yeah.
So we just keep moving, man. So that's the goal, man. Just keep it moving forward. And I don't know where these ideas come from half the time. Most of the time, they think they're batshit crazy, but Danny and Armando are awesome enough to entertain them, and sometimes put them in a book. So It's really, really cool.
It's all those rave parties, all them illicit drugs.
Dude, nah, I am absolutely not into parties and all that.
I'm
I'm
kidding.
that guy that like sits in the corner, like, okay, I can't wait to go home.
Yep.
I had
I
my,
think
I had my
the thing is Joey will come up with ideas, and like Mondo said earlier, between he and I, we've got a collective 60 plus years of reading comics. And so we know what's good, we know what's bad. We've been through the golden years of comics, we've lived through the bad years of comics. And so when Joey comes to us with an idea, with a script or whatever, we're able to look at it, read it, and say, okay, this kind of works. What if we did this instead? Or what if you took this route? Like, I see where you're going from this point to this point, but you're taking it up here. Here's a streamlined version that works really, really well. And it's great that Joey is able to take that criticism and go back and revamp the story, and make it fit, make it better, because not every story that he's pitched has been a hit, or even like, I think the Lady of Valiant book, the first draft you came at me with, I was like, Joey, you're gonna have to redo this because it's her book, but she's not even the main character in her own book. You have to go back and redo this. And he did. He went back, totally reworked it, and now it's amazing. It's a really good book. It's a super spy book, obviously, with Arthurian legend tied into it, sword and sorcery stuff. But then there's also this little buddy cop aspect of it between her and Merlin. And Merlin, so the way Merlin is like in Arthurian legend, he ages backwards. Well, at the time that she's Arthur, he's in like his 30s, and he's just kind of knocking around hobo status, almost like the dude from The Big Lebowski.
The dude abides.
Yeah, he's just kind of there inside, and he's inside the organization because he started it. He has run of the entire place. He has access everywhere, and he's just like, as long as I don't have to get my hands dirty, you guys do whatever you need to do, and I'll just go hang out with Arthur over here. We're good.
Yeah, and that's like Danny said. Like, we don't have to like when we tell Joey something, and we're not telling him like, hey, this is like trash. It's just like we tell him like, hey man, try to rework it. Dude, he just goes off and reworks it. Like, we don't have to like hold his hand and be like, he's already like, okay, cool. I was thinking about this also. This is my backup plan. Maybe this will work. Or what if I went this route? And it's so easy to work with a writer like that,
Well, yeah, and you want somebody that's going to be able to take critique as not a blow against them, but it's hey, this is good, but it could be better. What can we do to make it better? And then to actually, and then he takes it and reworks it and makes it what you guys are looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. As good as they are, whenever they talk, I listen. I'm very much a student of writing as much as I am a writer, so I'm still learning a lot as I go. And what's really awesome about Danny and Armando is that they say they won't tell me it sucks, but sometimes they will, and it's fine. Like, you need that. Like, if you're gonna make a good book, sometimes you're gonna have to hear some hard things, and that's fine, because what I learned about it is I get really excited, and sometimes Danny has to like hold me on a leash about like. I think that's one of the reasons why he never shares art, because like, he knows I might like accidentally post it.
There, for a while there, I was like, "Hey man, what do you think of this page? What do you think of this page?" And I was sending him sample pencils of pages, like full pages, and he's like, "This is great." And like less than a minute later, it's on Facebook. I'm like, "Dude, calm down. You can't share it yet. It's not even finished."
We were in a group chat last night. This is how Joey's mind works. We were in a group chat last night, and they missed typo Toro to Toto, right? And then Joey's like, "Oh, dude, when I was in Mexico, Like there was this dog and he was black and his name like and then I just said like, oh, what if like Black Toro's favorite movie was Wizard of Oz? He was like, whoa. We're like, no, wait, we're joking, dude.
And I was like,
He's like,
just stop
right,
it. Stop
movie.
right there. Stop right there. We're not doing any of that. He was like, yeah, Black Toro should have a sidekick that's a dog. Like, oh.
It was Black Toto. And we're like, dude, chill, man. Like,
He was gonna be El Toto Negro.
Oh man.
It's fun, man.
That's fun, dude, and we're glad, and we, that is a possibility. All the stuff that we talk about on our chat is always on the table, because, like we said, man, this is a labor of love, a passion project that we want to leave our legacy with. So if it leads to like TV shows, toy line, whatever, we're about it. And we dumped everything into it. So all that stuff that we talk about is definitely on the table. It might not get used. It might not, it might, but
Yeah, nothing's off limits.
Yeah. We just really have a love for these characters, and they're fun, and we all love them. And, it's great. It's fun to talk about them. And just get us excited,
We're excited to see what happens next with them.
And I have favorite characters from other publications that I haven't been that excited about in a long time, I mean, they're still, some of my favorite characters, and I like them, but they haven't really gotten me like, my juices flowing. These guys, I'm like, man, I'm ready to draw them. I'm ready to, do all kinds of stuff with them. So.
Well, and what's fun too is, with doing the crowdfunding and doing the Kickstarter, and the audience gets the book and they look at it, you can get a lot of direction, from the consumers on where they want to see the story go. And and that's the nice thing about being indie, like with Alton Simpson and Vampires in New Jersey. I like to use him as a reference all the time, because he takes his book to comic book stores, and he'll go in there and he'll be like, oh, hey, here's the latest book, and they'll buy a few copies, and they'll be like, oh, by the way, some of the customers want to see issues 4, 5, and 6 in a trade or something. Do you think you could do that? And that's the nice thing about indie. You can be like, oh, yeah, that's what you want here. Let me do it for you. And, you can kind of cater it instead of trying to sell it to a big publisher and have them say, well, no, this is the way that you're going to do it, or I don't like this character. You guys have the free reign to do whatever you want with your book, with your characters, and that's a great feeling. It's easy to be excited about it. And that's, the same reason why I want to indie publish my book. And everybody, I've taken a lot of flack from people about it. They're like, oh, well, you should get you an agent and sell your book, and you'll make so much more money. And it's like, you're missing the point. It's not about making a bunch of money. It's about making a mark on people. And, if I sell 100 copies, those people are going to be people that are going to follow me on Facebook, and they're going to have active conversations with me, and they're going to give me the feedback that I need to grow as a writer. If I sell 100,000 copies through an agent, it's just going to be people that, these books will eventually end up on a dollar store shelf somewhere, and they're not going to be people that are going to actively engage in my life, or that are going to seek me out of the con and say, hey, man, check out my Xenonanite Titan, or check out my Lawbringer costume.
Legacy, man. That's what it's all about. We want our names to be brought up when people read these books. Like, we want people to say, oh, what's this book you got? Oh, it's, dude, Danny Flores. This is his character. Not, oh, this is Image's character, or this is, we want people to associate that with us. Like, and yeah, like you said, you want people to be like, oh man, did you get that, that book at Barnes and Noble? Yeah, that author, Russ, man, he's awesome. He wrote this other book, and we want people to get excited about that, because that after you die, that's what you'll be known for, and your kids. And dude, that's Mondo's kid, And then Nick will be over here like, yeah, my dad was okay. He was okay. But
I'm not even my son's favorite artist. He's
same.
He loves Carrie Randolph. Like, really?
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, thanks for joining.
My first cover that I got published, I was like, hey, look at this, Nick. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, yeah, I did this. He's like, you did this? And I was like, yeah. He goes, man, it looks like a real artist did it. And I was like, wow. He's like, it looks good. It looks like a real artist did it. I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Aren't kids the most brutal critics ever?
He'd be like, who's that?
They're the worst.
That was Darkseid. He's like, oh, it doesn't really look like Darkseid. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I don't have to redo this commission.
Yeah, and see now my toddler, I drew Spider-Man on him. He got a red cast. He begged me to draw Spider-Man on it, and so I drew it on there, and I drew it right here on the top of the cast because usually they cut it down here down the side.
Yeah.
And would you believe that when they cut his cast off like a month and a half ago, they cut it right here,
Yeah.
right down the center of Spider-Man's head, right through his crotch. And my son, he's 5. He comes out, and because of COVID and all that, I wasn't allowed to go in, so I sat out in the truck with my daughter. Well, he comes out. I mean, it's just the waterworks are just flowing out of his face, and I'm like, "What the hell happened? Did they re-break his arm or what?" He's just going, and she's like, "They cut through Spider-Man." I was like, "What?" I was like, "I put that way up there," and she's like, "No, they cut right through him." So we had to freaking bring the cast home. So I'm like, "Dude, listen. I can draw you another Spider-Man." And so then at this time, now they recast it and it had a green cast. And he already had it picked out that Daddy was going to draw the Hulk for him.
Yeah.
So I had to draw him the Spider-Man again. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just drawing the Hulk on here. That way when I draw the Hulk on his cast and they cut through him, he's got both of them. Because as soon as we got home, that cast went in the trash. I told my wife, I was like, I'm just throwing it away. I'm like, he's probably going to cry. That is freaking disgusting. Like the nastiest thing on earth.
Yeah,
it's got to be
nasty.
casts. It's been on there for a month. You got all that dead skin that's just been, building up, and it's just like, oh, that's nasty. And he's just like clutching it, like it's a, And I'm sure in like 5 years, when he's gonna be 10, he's gonna look at that picture and his mom's like, "Dad, you suck."
I wish my kids glorified me like that. My daughter was like. Because I told her, she's real into these YouTube artists, right? These little YouTube doodles and stuff. And I said, hey, I got a YouTube up. I don't really post on it, but I might, draw some stuff. She said, oh, cool. Can you do this? And I was like, yeah. I was like, are you going to be my little agent? My little YouTube, my assistant? She goes, yeah, but you're going to have to pay me. So is it going to be 50-50 or? I'm like, what? Like, she's trying to manage my YouTube and be all, and I'm like, oh my God. You guys don't appreciate me for being an artist. You don't want to help your dad out, They don't care, man. They just want to reap all the rewards.
Yep.
They want to reap all the rewards.
So, the book's great. The project's great. It's really great to see, that you guys collaborate so well together and that you guys have such a symbiotic relationship. I love that. I love the ideas. I love that Joey's hungry, being in his mid-20s almost, you couldn't be in a better place than having 2 fantastic artists love your writing and just to be like, hey, man, we like what you do. Come on board. I mean, that's a big deal. It's like you said, Armando, you had people coming and they're like, oh, it's kind of like Ninja Turtles. You get a lot of people that are rehashing old stuff and you want something new and fresh. So
the Kickstarter, I don't know where we're at. You guys know where we're at? I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, we're at 108% funded right now.
Yeah, so 433. So we do have some unlockable stretch goals. We're not going to tell anybody because we want you to unlock them. But they're really awesome. They're fun. And guys can go on there. Like we said, the rewards are limited. So we do have combos of you can get both me and Danny's work on a sketch cover if you'd like, or just one from Danny, one from me. You can get some original pages from the actual book.
I've got pages for sale on there.
Yeah. So. Or you can get, private commission. The sketch covers, we're only doing characters from the book, guys, to kind of promote that. And then you can get the original characters. The original commissions, you can get mostly any character for the most part from public, Marvel, DC, you want those kind of Spider-Man or something. For those larger ones. We talked about doing OC, but you probably should email the Kickstarter if you have any questions about that, and we'll give you some information about that. But yeah, it never hurts to ask us, email the Kickstarter. But yeah, share it, guys. We would really appreciate it if we could get, all the way to that 8K so we can give you guys all the stuff that we have planned. But as of right now, we're real grateful and thankful for having it funded and getting it to you. So.
Yeah, right. And for everybody, the link for Plus Waco is in the comments to go follow them on Facebook. Definitely look forward to seeing what else you guys have to offer in the future. Also, the link for the Kickstarter is available in the description of the video, as well as I just posted again in the comments. Go check it out. Share it out there. If you don't have the money to drop on it, sharing's worth its weight in gold. Definitely worth it. These guys have something great, and I can't wait to see what else they can do. And I did have a question, though, too, on top of everything. Just so Danny and Armando, are you guys still taking commissions outside of this? Are you?
I am, but it's gonna be a wait. Like
Yeah.
I've got to start working on something already for Plus Waco. So I have to start like pretty soon, like now, like I should be. But yeah, so it's gonna be a long wait, guys. If you want to, you can ask about it and see if it'll come through. But and I'm gonna tell Danny he's burnt out, but yes, he needs to have commission. So go get.
So yeah, Mondo's always getting on me. He's always getting on my case. He's like, dude, you need to post stuff. You need to open up a commission list. You need to do all this stuff. I'm like, man, I don't know. Okay. So when we launched the Kickstarter, I was super hesitant, super nervous. I was like, no one even knows who I am. No one cares. This book isn't going to go anywhere. I was the main one, like, still. Joey was like, full gas. Let's launch it today. It was September. We had nothing. And Joey's like, let's launch it. Like, no. Let's hold on. And even up until the day of launch, I was still like hesitating in my head. Like, I don't know if we should even do anything. I'm like, let's just cancel it all because it's not going to get funded. Luckily, it did get funded, and Mondo is always telling me, put some stuff online so people can see what you can do. And I'm like, why?
Dude, I had people like I've been pushing this book, and people have been asking me like, "Are you doing the interiors?" And I'm like, "No, I'm doing Danny. This guy Danny. Check out Imaginary Heroics." And they'll go to his page and be like, "Oh, he's cool, whatever." I'm like, "No, he's really good. Like, just check him out. He's doing the interiors." After we launched, I had people hitting me up like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna do the Danny sketch. Is that cool?" I'm like, "Why are you asking me for?" Like, they've gotten commissions from me before, right? And they were expecting me that because this is we're all part of us promoting it, that I was going to be like, no, Danny's doing the introduction. He's fantastic. Check him out. Like, oh, he's cool. And then when we launch, they would hit me back up like, hey man, I think I'm going to do the Danny cover. I'm like, wow, thanks for making me feel like shit. But yeah, that's great. Do it. You know what I mean? But like they love to see his work, and I keep telling them, man, like take commissions. I don't know. He might one day. Maybe he will.
I mean, I think I'll open a small commission list. Nothing long. Maybe 5-10 pieces. That's in addition to what I'll be doing for the book. So I'm still finishing up pages, and I'm still getting stuff done. I've already gotten, I think, 3-4 commissions through the book and 2 sketch covers or something. So I'll probably add some commissions in there if anyone's interested. Jack Napier, how far along you guys done with the project? We are we're it's a fluctuating kind of thing. We have colored pages, we have lettered pages, and I am currently building the book as well as drawing. So I'm still finishing out some inks on some pages. And if I don't go crazy and ask Joey for more for the book, then we should be done. So funny story about the book. It started off as a 24-page one-shot. 24-page one-shot. That's all it was. And I read through the script. It went by really fast, but it was packed with so much stuff. And I knew from just talking to Joey, being around him, that everything in this story, he was visualizing it as an anime. It was either an anime or some kind of live action thing where you can take, like Lord of the Rings. That novel takes about a month to read, and they compress it into 3 hours. Hey, when's Armando starting on the panels for those bonus pages? As soon as we hit that next stretch goal. Anyways, I knew that that's what was happening with Joey. So I told him, this is great. This is a good start. But a lot of this stuff is really compacted. You need to stretch things out, especially if I'm going to render it on paper. I can't have like one panel be all this action. This happens in like 3 or 4 separate panels which expands out into one page by itself. So he, again, great with criticism. He took it, went back, came back with a 48-page script, which was great. And I was like, perfect. This is perfect. Read through it and everything. And I was like, we're going to do a 48-page book. Fantastic. I'm all for it. Started reading through it. And I was like, you know what? Some of these set pieces are really big action pieces. And he takes it all and, again, compresses it into one page. I'm like, no, you've got to let the stuff breathe. You've got to let it breathe. So now it was on me to take those pages and stretch them into double-page spreads. So now I've taken a 48-page book, and I think I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double-page spreads, and that's a 53-page book. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it like, oh man, I'm really expanding this book on my own and not like cutting myself any kind of slack whatsoever. I told Joey about it. Joey was like, yeah, man, do whatever you need to do. And I was like, all right, I just want to let you know, just want to give you a heads up. There are going to be some double page spreads in here. And I started laying out my thumbnails, started laying out layouts on paper, and I got to a certain point in the book, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't see this. But we have a quick resolution early on in the book and then a quick resolution near the end of the book. And I'm like, you don't want to do that either. You can't have that twice in one book. So I told Joey, this quick resolution, because this is the pinnacle of the book. This is where the big changes happen. This needs to be expanded. I'm sorry. You're going to have to write out a little extended fight scene or something to make this not match that, so that we don't trip over ourselves and lose momentum in the story. And he was like, all right, yeah, I can do that. And what did it take you, a month, Joey? It took you a month that you kept going back and forth. Like, I think I got something. Oh, I didn't get anything. I think I got something. And I was expecting 5, 6 pages. And finally, Joey's like, I got it. He sends me a Word document, and I open it up. Like, I don't even open it up. I like hit print. So, because I do everything on paper still. Like, I'll have the script and do little thumbnails on paper. I hit print, and I hear my printer in the other room, and I'm just not paying attention. And it's still going like 20 minutes later. I'm like, what the hell did you write?
So this 20-page comic went from the 50, and now it's like a 90-page super giant.
Yeah. He sent me over 16 pages of extra fight. And I went in with a knife and started cutting things here and there, and I got it back down to 13 pages. So now we're sitting at 66 pages. So, but I mean, it's really good stuff. I blame myself, but I really wanted the book to be good. I wanted the first book off the shelf. I wanted it to be really, really good. I wanted it to tell a whole story, to be not where parts are missing or seem like they're missing, where things went really fast and they weren't super explained. Like, there's at least a nugget there that lets you know, okay, this is what happened, and this is how we got from A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
And I think we've done that. I think we've accomplished that really well with this book. So.
Yeah, and I love it. What you talked about earlier, with you didn't want to do it. You're like, oh, this is going to fail. This isn't going to fund. Imposter syndrome's real. No matter what anybody says, you could have the greatest book in the world, and you're going to go to that moment that you put it out there, and you're going to be like, I shouldn't do this because it's going to fail, and it's going to wreck me. And it's like, you got all these people that are going, oh no, I like this. You need to put it out there. And it's something that's really hard to struggle with. You get depression about it, you get upset, and there's times that you get so down on yourself, you're like, this project sucks. And then it's great, in the same sentence you turn around, you talk about how exciting it is that you went from, a short 20-page book to then it was almost 50 pages. And then now you're almost at 70 pages into this giant book. Yeah. And you're excited about it, and you're pumped, and you believe in your project. And and it's something as creators that we do back and forth. You go from being excited to being down. to being excited to being down. And what helps to keep you in that excited zone is having all these awesome people behind you, pushing you to do better and do great. And then Jack Napier said, what kind of art styles do you guys like? Who do you think the better artist? And yes, I know that is subjective.
Danny.
The better artist. Yeah, the better artist out of us, out of me and Armando. I think it depends on what we're attempting to render. Because Armando can give you something really close to Sienkiewicz that I can try. I'm gonna fail every time.
Yeah.
But if you want Adam Hughes or Jim Lee or something, I can knock that out of the park for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're both how we interpret things, how we read Joey's work, and how we put it on a page, or how we even what stories we like and are attracted to are different from another. And we both respect that. And I think as very, I like to think of both of us as very seasoned artists. We appreciate each other in that sense. I might not be able to do a lot of stuff. Or my style, I might not ever want to be like a Danny artist, draw like him, but I can appreciate the skill that it takes and what he's done, to make a panel fit that way or anything like that, and whereas my stuff is more expressive and more chaotic, to where he has enough art for, he's seasoned in art and has studied art to where he appreciates that, and knows that. And so it's hard to say like who's the better artist, and in that sense, we're both of us are still pushing ourselves internally.
Yeah.
We might change different routes of how we illustrate, 5 years down the road or however, so it's hard to say that, who's that is and stuff. So, but that was a good question.
Yeah. I will say that right now, I think, did he ask like who's our favorite artist on there as well?
So what kind of art styles do you guys like?
Oh, yeah. What kind of art style? Right. Like for me, Olivier Coipel, that's like the top, but man, I'm really digging, Doc Shaner and Mitch Gerards on Strange Adventures. I love the dichotomy and the back and forth that those guys have. So it's going almost like an animated adventure to gritty real life crime drama back and forth, throughout that whole story. And I think both of those guys are fantastic. I love Doc Shaner. I love Mitch Gerards, and they both bring something unique to that book. Pepe Larraz is another guy that initially he seemed like a J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah.
He seemed like a Campbell clone almost, but he's really developed his own style here recently with House of X, Powers of 10, and everything.
For me, it's like Danny said, Bill Sienkiewicz is one of my things that kind of brought me into the different styles in comics. Like comics can kind of be altered and stuff. But lately, Ron Garney has really been kind of drawing my eye towards me, and his ink style, his light source, the way he uses his light sources and kind of uses that light to fill in shapes and things of nature, like in his Daredevil run. So that artist there, and of course, there's always artists that will be. Jay Lee is another one that I really find I gravitate towards too a lot. The darkness and really brush strokes of his composition and stuff. But like, there's artists that I'll probably never draw like, but I still draw inspiration from. Travis Charest, Olivier Coipel, those kind of artists that are more tighter, more condensed, but still have form with them. And then there's artists that are in, a lot of pastels and stuff that I kind of that was my first dive into art. Like Carrie Nord right now is doing a lot of pastel painting work, which has been beautiful. And those kind of artists like that. So anything that's a little different and a little more expressive is kind of who I gravitate towards too. But I still do like some tighter fitting more artists. So
what about you, Joey?
Yeah.
For me, I'm actually more forte into the art. Whenever I was reading them, I was really just paying attention to stories. Whenever I was growing up, I never really paid attention to who was credited on the art. So there was right now I'm kind of going through crash courses with Danny and Armando, and I'm listening like, okay, well they're shooting out names like, all right, cool. So Jay Lee, all right, cool. Bill Sienkiewicz, all right, cool. Brian Stelfreeze, all right, cool. Jotting these down, checking them out, learning as much as I can. But there are a few names that have stuck with me, like Frank Whitley. He did the I think it was the All-Star Superman run.
Frank Quitely, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's stylistic. There's action in it, but it's not. It shines on its own. Right? The pencils alone could hold the book, and it's incredible to me. Chris Samney is another one that I'm really liking right now. He's doing the Firepower book. I did a bit of research on him. I got the on Comixology the Rocketeer that he did. That's really cool. The Rocketeer is one of my favorite characters. I like the little steampunk aesthetic of it. But anyway, Chris Samney is really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two, Chris Samney and Frank Whitley, quietly are probably my favorites right now.
Those are awesome.
I've always been into paintings. I'll throw a couple of my favorites out there. Lucio Perillo. I could watch him all day long, man. Just the way that guy oil paints is just phenomenal. I've always been a fan of just watching paint get applied to a canvas, and the textures that they can bring out with mixing different paints together just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like you see his work when it starts out and you're like, I don't really see where he's going with this. Yeah. And then, like 20 minutes in, it's like, oh, okay. And then like after 45 minutes, it's like, how the hell did you get to this point from here? It's like, the stuff that he envisions in his mind as he's applying it is just amazing. And, watching him paint live is amazing. It doesn't do it very often, but, when I get a chance to watch that. And another one, that Wendy turned me on to was Nancy Vasconcelos. She does phenomenal work too. Some of her sketch covers. If you've never seen her work, check her out. She's on Facebook. She's out of Brazil. The realism, she will take and pencil sketch pencils, and it's some of the most realistic, photoreal sketches that I've ever seen. They're just phenomenal.
You ever seen Frank Cho oil paint? That guy makes me sick.
Yeah.
Can't stand
He'll sit there and knock out a comic, and then, you know what? To relax, I'm going to go oil paint.
Yeah. I'm going to paint this 11 by 17 piece of canvas. I just threw this together.
There's a lot of guys,
check
man.
it out.
Simon Bianchi, man. That dude, Italian artist, like, just in the morning, like, going to do this, like, 12 by 18 Wolverine head bust paint sketch.
Riccardo Federici.
Yes, yes, dude. And just like, I don't want to work on it anymore. Post it and then be done. I'm like, God, dude, that looks like I'd have to spend like 3 days on that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, Frank Joe, all those guys, they make me sick, man. But I love them.
Well, cool. Thanks for being on tonight, guys. This is an awesome show. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys, getting to know you, your strengths and weaknesses, and the relationship that you guys have together. It's definitely awesome. I'd like to take the time, give each one of you a chance to shout out. I know, Armando, you do live draws and stuff. You want to tell people where to find you?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on my IG at Armando Ramirez _art. My Facebook is just Armando Ramirez. I have a Twitter, which is like MondoRam21. I work with an organization called Draw for Change, and Instagram as well. And you can find that, and the donations go to a lot of really good events for youths. And right now we're kind of tackling social issues. So they have an eBay page, and we just did an Instagram page where I will be posting some of my Inktober pieces up for sale, which you can bid on, and all that will go to charity. And then I think that's kind of all I have for if you guys want to check me out. I just hit 3,000 followers on my Instagram, so I'll probably do a giveaway. You guys can still qualify for that. I haven't announced it, so even after I announce it, you guys, if you follow me and you do whatever I say I decide to do, you can maybe win some art or something like that. So that'd be cool.
So in other words, they need to request an it piece if they win, right?
If they want. I mean, at this point, man, I got to pay bills and we got stuff going on. I'll draw anything at this point, man. So
be careful.
It might not be up to your part what you think it's going to look like, but I'll draw it.
What about you, Danny? Where can everybody find you at?
You can find me on Facebook at danny.r.flores and Imaginary Heroics. You can find me on Instagram at Imaginary Heroics, Imaginary Heroics on Tumblr. I have a Twitter account. I never tweet, but you can follow me there at I Am Drunk Batman.
I'm still trying to find them on Twitter.
And Jack Napier wanted to see some artwork.
Oh yeah.
Here's something. Here's a preview for another page in the book. What? I know. Look. So it's a script, and then the thumbnail for the script for this whole page.
Here, I'll show some sketch art to you.
So that's all I can show right now. I do have a lot of artwork on my Instagram and on my Facebook page. The Kickstarter has some of the preview pages for the book. If you want to go there and check it out, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to buy anything. I wish you would. Just give us $1 in case I want a soda.
Yeah.
That's one of the tiers, guys.
Yeah.
Give me $1 in case I want a soda. That's a tier.
Well, no, if you can just donate whatever, and in the thing I said maybe you just want us to have a nice soda or something.
Yeah.
So, did I mention everything? Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook. I think I did. Yeah.
And what was that? I Am Drunk Batman.
I Am Drunk Batman. That's my Twitter account.
I'm still trying to find it, man.
Had to go.
I don't tweet.
He might have made it while he was drunk.
Yeah.
Did you say you have some pieces that you could show off, Armando?
Oh, I just have this doodle, this kind of like sketch we were kind of doing of Lawbringer, which will probably go with Danny's design, but this is kind of what I was kind of drawing for it, and I got some other stuff elsewhere. But like Danny said, you can see examples of our work on the Kickstarter of like our commission tiers, what you could be able to get and what our style is kind of like and stuff like that. So go check it out there.
Yeah, and there's a link again where you guys can go check that out and see those awesome pieces of art. And last but not least, Joey, if you want to give everybody a shout out where they can find you.
Yeah, man. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at JoeyGNZLS. I'm on Facebook at Joey Gonzalez. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Plus Waco Comics, so find us on there. Also, shout out to Hector. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Hector L. Graff. That's our letter and also our assistant designer. But yeah, head to the Kickstarter right now. Plus Waco Comics presents Plus Universe Alpha. There's some awesome artwork there from Danny and Armando. Read a bit about the story, watch the video. We're really excited about it, and hopefully you can be too.
Cool. I'm excited to see this and see where this goes. So thanks so much for being on tonight, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And hopefully, next year we can do this again with your guys' next installment.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to send you guys to the green room. If you'll hang out for a second back there while I say my goodbyes, and I'll be back in a minute.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, had a great show tonight. Definitely check out Plus Universe Alpha on Kickstarter now. The link is in the comments. The link is in the description. Check out Plus Waco on Facebook. Their group is in the description. And check out the art of the phenomenal artist, and check out Joey Gonzalez. Definitely some great work. Armando goes live all the time. I haven't seen much of Danny's work outside of the Kickstarter, but I'm going to definitely follow him and check some of his work out because it looks great. So thanks so much for being here tonight, you guys. Thanks for checking out the indie community and all the awesome Kickstarter projects that they have going on right now. And as always, signing off, this is Russ Explode Studios, projects that'll blow your mind. Have a great week. Have a great night. I'll see you all on Tuesday.